Wait, do you ever get disappointed when you're showing someone something for the first time and you really want them to get it? And
No,
they
not
don't?
at all. I think
Yes.
Oh.
Matt knew exactly where I was
Absolutely.
going with that question.
I'm clearly an Eeyore.
I'm probably Rue.
I'm a Christopher Robin with a poo rising.
And then I get in a canoe and I'm like, Clairs don't like canoes.
No, they don't.
I'm afraid of this lake.
That's exactly what it was.
Ow.
It was a beautiful moment in our friendship. I was
literally in the middle of getting her up and down the
Pathetic.
stairs. Ow. I was like, I'm trying to get my hair done. I'm like, God.
I don't think that's an accurate representation of my owl.
Well, you were in such pain you couldn't see clearly. So,
Trauma.
Thank you for listening to the Last Will podcast. I'm Matt Young. I'm a theater educator and a parent. And ever since I lost my father to cancer, I have been mildly obsessed with death. This is my last will and testament. Erica Jung once wrote, "Burnout is not the price you have to pay for success. It's the price you have to pay for not listening to your own needs." In this week's episode, the gang is all back together to discuss burnout, something we are very familiar with at this very moment. Enjoy.
this might make me emotional. Should I just pick a page?
Should we choose a number?
If you want to, and I know the number you're thinking of.
Okay.
53,
No.
71,
No.
63,
I've moved on from that play.
4.
26. Flippy, 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 flippy through a book. Flippy, 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 flippy,
Interesting.
flippy through a book.
Very interesting, Matt.
All right, yeah.
This is almost like pulling a card. This is called decisions.
Okay.
Why must decisions be so hard? Meant to be is a phrase that is that is used by people to make them feel better. Let's start that again. Why must decisions be so hard? Meant to be is a phrase that is used by people to make them feel better about the things they cannot control. But what if you don't believe in destiny? Then making a decision becomes harder because the outcome is not based on destiny, but rather the choice you make, and if you make the wrong choice, you suffer.
That's a lot. Also,
What's the name of that poem?
move your
It's called Decisions.
Decisions. And what's the book?
Page 26, and the book is Poems of the Neurodivergent Experience by Jaclyn, Jaclyn. I hope I said that right.
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn?
Pensiero?
You're looking at
And
me
the-
for pronunciations. I feel like
the
that's always going to
bookmark-
be a mistake.
The
It's always gonna
bookmark
be a mistake.
has her name on it too. In the bookmark in the book.
Again, it's the same spelling, Jaclyn Pensiero, so it didn't actually speak to me. What
What does the bookmark say?
Jaclyn, it says, it has her Instagram handle or TikToks.
She goes by Jackie.
No. I don't know that Jackie is.
That was a pretty heavy poem.
One's called, how about No Response?
Okay.
How about
Page 16.
mic to the mouth?
Oh, geez. No response. I cannot deal. I cannot talk. I cannot make a single squawk. The overwhelm takes control. Nothing to say. It takes its toll. My brain shuts down, and then I frown, unable to fake a response. I break down, hold it in so they cannot see. All I want to do is flee. Well,
Wow.
that sounds like me to a T right now.
I mean, like you've said to me many times that you felt nonverbal.
This is what it's like.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty incredible.
In a paragraph that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines long. Wow. I cannot deal. I cannot talk. I cannot make a single squawk. Jeez.
That's pretty powerful.
Well, like in Curious, when he's read the letters, that's going nonverbal
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
Didn't take any work there. Got nothing to say to you, but everything to say.
Exactly. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
morning.
Good morning.
We're back. The whole team is back.
Thank God.
Right?
Yeah.
We've been away for a while.
It's actually a lot harder to do it without Grady.
Do you think so? Well, I mean, we do like an hour, like so easy.
I know,
Claire.
but I get. I guess like when I come,
Yes.
when Grady's not here, it's like, okay, like I definitely have to be the other part of this conversation. I can't just be 1/3 of the conversation.
Right, but don't you think we each take half of that?
Yeah.
Like we're 1.5 each.
Yeah. I guess I can't be lazy.
Well, good.
Wow.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
And Matt, how do you feel about being alone with Claire?
Alone, it's very
Alone.
uncomfortable. I have to deal with this laugh.
And Claire, how do you feel filming alone?
No, it's
So
not
when
about
I'm here,
being
you both feel
alone.
alone. That's neat.
It's not. It's actually
Imagine that.
it's actually not hard at all. I don't know why I even said
No,
that.
because we want to make Grady feel welcome back. Because when it's the
Yeah.
three of us, there is a different energy.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun, and we all play different instruments.
I think I just get nervous ahead of time because I'm like, oh, what if I run out of something to
This
say?
week's topic is static.
Anyways, the truth of the matter is, we're happy to have Grady back after his hiatus.
Careful.
No, he was on hiatus
I was
because
in
he
a
was
play.
working on a show.
Yeah.
Matt was in a play too.
Matt was in a play. And
He was here the whole
Matt
time.
And I have custom gifts coming that no one else has
We'll see.
that are being vetted. I got the proofs today.
Vetted.
And yeah.
Aren't those supposed to come before the show ends?
Yes, well, these take a lot of time because they're custom and they're not cheap.
Why are you yelling at me?
I don't know because I wanted them before
Because he's
and
really
I
defensive
didn't.
because you both know about the thing about the other thing. You both know my feelings about all the thing. So there's a lot of like unspoken stuff. Anyways, yes, Grady and I were working on a play together, but it didn't ask as much of me in performance for sure. So I could be
as
here.
much of you technically.
There
It
was definitely a time I came here when both of you either were about to cry or your skin was falling off.
Oh my God!
Like,
yes.
there was
Or like
a
Matt
lot.
was like an unplugged vacuum dragging like the. Well, I don't know why you're a vacuum.
I don't-
I was like a blender without a top on.
I don't think we ever got that
Make a smoothie.
like on tape. I think that was all before.
Maybe
in our
got
pre.
here and it was like, oh man, when you know the energy's just different.
Oh, I don't know how we got any podcast done because I was losing my mind. Not only was my body physically failing me,
You had to
like
sit
like I
too
had
for that.
Oh, it was I was being driven mad. Anyways, it's over now, and I'm very happy with the result.
Yeah,
I think
the best
it,
Good.
result.
I think it
You should
represented.
be so proud.
Thank
Thanks.
you. I think it
Very solid.
represented everything a creative process should be. It was all about discovery. We didn't know
Discovering
how
your
we were
body.
going to do it, and in the end, I think we really figured out how to do it just based upon process. So I couldn't be happier with
No
that.
pun intended. Based about being curious.
Yeah, yeah.
We were curious enough to never stop being curious. And I'm still curious to see where things would go because I'm now realizing, oh man, I wanted to do this. I should have paused there. That was a breath. That should have gone faster. That was tempo problems. That was somebody else's problem. I should have called them out on.
Peace,
And I
peace,
realized I thought.
Excuse you. No, I do. I don't know.
theremin.
I don't know what that was.
my
Sound like
theremin.
a cat
Um,
fight.
I do know that a lot of people who came and saw it felt like they got to see the play without all of the bells and whistles that the original production had.
That's
And
a beautiful thing.
and they seem to really enjoy that. So
Makes
kudos
you-
to you.
I didn't see the
Thanks.
original, and I thought this was amazing. This production, to me, it was about. I don't know if bells and whistles would have.
And we are
done
discussing the
anything for me.
curious incident of the dog in the nighttime, just in case anyone thinks this is Sound of Music. It's not.
Yeah.
I thought that in intermission, Claire said something to me that really like resonated and made me feel great about myself, which was it felt like an experience as opposed to just
that's
watching
cool.
a play. And
Well, you know
That's
that
pretty
when
cool.
intermission comes and nobody's applauding.
yeah, they didn't applaud that night that you were there. They didn't know how to.
It
They
was
didn't want to
rare we would
disengage.
it would take a minute for people after Act 1 to do the.
I mean, I also feel like,
Yeah.
is this something I applaud for?
then
Like,
sometimes
am
people
I
will just
applauding
stop.
for a performance, or am I watching a? It's like it's a demonstration,
Yeah.
Dang.
and I mean, I was mostly just upset when I'm watching it that it's not getting that attention that it deserves, and that I got to see something that both of my close friends are working on, and I just all I heard from them was them talking about the process and the technicalities, but I didn't know anything about the content. So here I am, a first viewer of the content, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I had. I don't know. I wish I could watch it a couple more times. I tried to see it again and I couldn't, but I would have loved to see it one
I
more
saw
time.
it plenty. Oh my God, I saw it so much.
Well, you
Like,
guys have
every
been
night
talking about this
watching.
play for at least a year.
For
Yeah,
as long as we've known each other, really.
Oh,
In some
I
ways.
think in some ways, yeah, it's come up. It's something that I've wanted to do since I read the book, for sure. And when it became a play, I've always wanted to do it, but like seriously talked about it for a year since I knew that I was going to direct it.
So now that it's over,
Yeah.
what are we going to
And
talk
the
about
bitterness
today?
is still there. Well, I think what we're going to talk about is, and this seems to make sense for all of us in our lives right now. Grady and I just having come off this play, and Claire almost finished with her work. You've been studying for a test. I'm not going out of school by saying that, right? You've been studying.
No, I've been studying for I'm in a course of a big. I'm in a class for a bigger course, and this class has been distance learning all year, and it's been very isolating and unfun and difficult. And I hopefully will pass the test soon. And
Grady seems to think that you will pass it.
I do. I do because you want to.
I'm not so sure.
I just there's 100.
It's funny to me. I don't
There's
know.
100 forms of fear. There are I had to actually it's like flip the switch, like the fuse that would blow in my brain. I would have to flick it back on like every 5 minutes. I'm like, I'm a failure. I'm going to fail. I don't know this. I can't remember anything. I went over this 1,000 times and I still can't remember it. What's wrong with me? You're a failure, this and that. And then I'd have to flick the switch
Go
back
down to
on
the breaker box and,
to be
and
like,
turn
no,
it back on. Yeah.
you're okay. So
Well, I think you do know that there is a power in the mental positivity, and thinking that you are able to accomplish something helps give you the confidence to be able to do that. I think if you had to take a test on fear and failure right now, you'd nail it.
oh, for sure.
Nail it. Anyway, so the topic that we're taking on today
Burnout.
is burnout.
Burnout, bro. Yeah. Oh, well, that's Wipeout.
Wipeout.
Right?
Yeah. No. I think,
Wipeout, bro.
no, I think burnout could be like
Burnout.
bro.
Oh, yeah. Wipeout is about surfing, isn't Burnout?
Can I have a minute? Who are these voices? What in the world?
These are like the
Oh,
kids
Lord.
I went to college with. So they're burned out. Burned. Yeah.
Well, you're kind
They're
of
from
combining
Canada,
it.
too.
You're combining it with like a villainous.
They're from
Oh,
Canada.
they're
background.
villainous.
No, your
Matt
voice
always goes to
Oh.
French Canadian.
That's true.
It's his
I can't
default.
help it. I can't help it.
It's his 71. That's
It
a
is my
private
71.
show.
Yeah, so no, burnout could be a stoner for sure. Burnout, I think, was also a video game about that involved cars. But we're talking about personal burnout when, like, mental fatigue is at the core. So let's get right to the definition. That way, we'll set a
We're
nice
gonna talk about
foundation.
burnout on the neurodivergent spectrum and also the neurodivergent. I mean, we're going to a little bit of both.
And what are the others?
They're different.
The neurodivergent
Autistic
and
burnout
the
is
and
different
the.
than
I wonder if
Oh,
there's a
absolutely.
burnout
No, but I
poem
just
in
meant
this
like,
book.
what are we categorizing the other people? There's neurodivergent, and what would you categorize?
I don't know. The cast of the Love Boat Rose. I mean, you'd categorize them as.
I don't think Claire was ever on the Love Boat.
What's that?
She is the Love Boat.
I was going to say normies, but that like is.
I just can't
feels
with
wrong. It does
normalcy.
feel wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
what is
sorry.
normal?
No.
Burnout. Oh
Audis
my-
and normies.
Can you tell, listener, that we haven't been together in a while? Can you tell that?
No, I couldn't.
Burnout is a psychological state of chronic exhaustion and emotional, mental, and physical fatigue that results from prolonged exposure to high levels of stress, particularly in the workplace. It is characterized by a sense of overwhelming exhaustion, cynicism, or detachment from one's work, and a reduced sense of personal accomplishment or effectiveness. Burnout is not simply a result of working long hours or having a demanding job. It is a response to chronic workplace stress that has not been effectively managed or addressed. Individuals experiencing burnout often feel depleted, emotionally drained, and may lose interest or motivation in their work. Burnout can have a significant Burnout can have a significant negative burnout can have significant negative impacts on an individual's physical health, mental well-being, relationships, and overall quality of life. It is important to recognize the signs of burnout and take proactive steps to prevent or address it, such as seeking support, practicing self-care, setting boundaries, and reassessing work-life balance. Dun, dun, dun. So this is very, very specific in terms of
It
its...
is.
Mm-hmm.
But it is.
It's funny how it
not
always talks
wrong.
about like
It's not
burnout in the
wrong.
workplace.
Right?
It's not about no.
Very American.
Well,
Yes.
that's very true.
Oh, so our AI robot is American.
Clearly,
I would imagine.
if it's about work, first thing, hey, how are you? I'm Don. What do you do?
Do you think in France or Greece that they're having the same burnout?
No, different
I don't
burnout.
think they burn out.
They do.
Do they?
Sure, everybody.
How
does.
do they burn out?
Their investment runs out of. I don't know. I'm just saying that. That is.
I wanted you to
clearly
give
an
me an
American.
example in French.
I did. Pepe Le Pew.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it.
What?
I'm just saying. You're treading. You're treading on
What?
dangerous ground.
We live breathe.
No, I definitely agree that is a very American take on burnout. I know for myself, in the last couple of months, I've had a lot of like health issues. It has felt like my body has been failing me. I've been to the emergency room twice. I would say, I mean, you could say that it's working on a play, but I felt very much like I was doing a lot of the work myself. I feel like most productions have a production staff. I did not have it, so I was definitely feeling stress. And physically, my body was letting me know. Mentally, I would imagine, too, my patience was probably pretty off. And not because of, like, prednisone that I was on or anything like that. I feel like I probably wasn't as kind as maybe I am usually. Maybe my patience was low, but certainly I was feeling stressed and my body was falling apart at the same time. So I can relate to it.
And
totally
also,
completely.
I think that like the concept of burnout has been around for a long time, but it hasn't. I never thought about it until people would bring it up. And I remember having a conversation with somebody last year where they talked about burnout, and I was like, interesting. Like I don't relate.
Like, you
but
didn't
I
take
do.
it seriously?
I just never thought about it. I never.
People don't take it seriously.
I don't take it seriously. I mean, I just think like, oh, I work really hard. It's like I get into a coil. I get tighter and tighter, like a mainspring.
Right.
Come
And
on,
then-
stretch, breathe,
and
have a
then-
moment, take a yoga class. Just
Yeah,
relax,
but
have a
it's
good
like-
night's sleep.
This happens when I'm working on something, maybe a show, or maybe it's like the holiday season at my job, and then I'm working, and then I finally have a moment to rest. But what my body does is it gets sick. So that's to me like my release of work.
My eldest had that recently where he had played the lead in a show. He hadn't ever done that really before.
Wore him
and
out.
and the workload from school and stuff.
Especially just life. And
Workload was overwhelming, and then got sick.
Yeah.
And got really sick at the
Yeah.
end.
He's feeling
Yeah.
better now, right?
Yeah, but the other one's sick now.
Oh,
In case we hear the cough in the background,
Yeah,
that's
no. I mean,
God,
that's-
everybody put your masks on. We're here with the bird flu.
I know. The bird flu. 101 bird flu lane.
Ugh.
That's where we are.
Yeah.
bird flu.
I think
Is
I'm with you though, Claire. Like, I don't think I gave it much weight.
Because people tell you not to. Oh, you're fine. You need to eat. Have some rest.
Oh no, everyone tells me that I'm
Push through.
they tell me that I'm like
Oh my goodness. We've broken her.
I just threw up.
Elmer
When I
Fudd is
when
into
I
the
complain
chat.
about sleeping all day on Sundays, I'm like, I can't believe I slept all day. I just can't. I'm just so tired, and I don't know what's wrong with me.
Someone's
And
like,
they're-
oh, that's great. That's a good thing.
people
No,
say
it's
that.
not actually. It's
They're
not a
like,
good
you
thing.
needed it. I'm like, no, I didn't. No, I lost the whole day, and I feel awful.
Yeah.
But people support they support me not burning out,
But
which
that's-
is nice.
That's a reverse. That's still a form of not supporting what burnout is. Burnout is being tied to your bed all day and not being able to do the things you need to do. With autistic burnout, the thing that pisses me off so much is it's seen as isolation. You're like, where are you? Why can't you talk? I'm like, I'm in the middle. I can't explain to you. I'm in the middle of burnout. I can't recognize my emotions. I don't know what they are. I'm having a million of them, and I cannot identify any of them verbally. It is like being in a prison. It's so isolating.
Is that the thing that you think leads to non-verbalization?
Absolutely. And the thing is, too, that most of the time with autistic burnout, you have led up to that point. And if that's been a stacking moment or whatever, it also will usually harken back to past burnouts that were not dealt with properly. And because my mind personally works the way it works, I'm still holding on to these traumas or fears that happen with these other burnouts. And so they just come back, and they come back tenfold. And
So
the
you have
older I get-
burnout trauma.
Yeah. And people don't want to, they don't take it very seriously. They just want to brush it off, and that's fine.
Your naturopath.
I don't know that is specifically towards autistic burnout. I think most people ignore other people's burnout.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You know,
No.
I think they want
Push through it. Come on, have a
Yeah.
rest. Have a drink of water. You drinking up water? You doing a treadmill? Get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah.
Bye.
Well, I mean, I think people are like that with trauma, with tragedy, all of that stuff. They want you to move past it because it's more comfortable for them to not have to deal with it. It's just the way it is.
I think, I guess, with being on the spectrum with autism, there's so many other things that can lead you into burnout that would not lead someone leading a neurotypical life into burnout.
Typical. That's the word I was looking for.
And
typical.
It's just different, and so you have to be so careful of yourself. One has to be careful of themselves. I guess with doing this show, I was lucky to be able to not have to be so careful with myself because everybody else took such good care of me, and I trusted them to do so. It was like a trust fall.
Right. So you're talking about with Curious Incident.
Yeah, and you also set me up.
If I guess if the audience doesn't know that the Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime is about a 15-year-old
she's on the spectrum. Yeah, exactly. And but you helped me to kind of come out of my shell. And to go just try it, just see and I did.
Do you think maybe I could have been insensitive at times to the struggle neurodivergently to be working on this?
Not mean.
I was asking you to do things that maybe were less comfortable.
I can't really give you a straight answer to that because I don't.
Did I abuse you?
If you did, no.
Show me on the doll. Where I abused you.
Okay, and we're gonna cut to a commercial break. Volkswagen. It's not just a car; it's an inappropriate comment. On the doll, it'd be more on kind of the foot, the Achilles heel area, where you snapped both of my Achilles heels and then said, "Hey, I want you to run from 71 to 53."
Ooh.
But
direct reference.
My point, and I do have one.
It's the Spider-Man 42 of this.
It's the Spider-Man 42.
Yeah.
But no. But I mean, I think. Well, that's an interesting question.
Because I definitely asked you to be neurotypical more often as an actor during the process while you're playing neurodivergent. I think that is definitely a fact. Did that make any sense to you, Claire?
Yeah.
Yes.
It makes sense to me for sure. But
I saw the play.
it ultimately. Me being able to trust everybody up there and them actually taking care of me meant everything. It really did. I mean, and when we had the cast party and I wanted to say a quick thank you. I don't know if everybody realized how much they did for me and for Christopher.
No, I'm sure they didn't.
I was amazed at the level of care, and you could never see this. There was a moment where he looks back and the whole cast is sitting behind him. And just for some reason, the last night, I just mouthed thank you to all of them. I looked everybody in the eye and just said thank you. And that was one of the most wonderful moments I've ever had on stage. And no one could see that. But just to be able to thank people in a real way for looking after you and taking care of you and not questioning you. And
well, the way we stage it
also not infantizing me or babying me. Are you
Yeah.
okay? Are you burnt out? Like, I'll tell you when I am.
Yeah. I mean, we did have to change your diaper, but I mean, that's just like practical.
That's right.
I heard about that.
We're just that. And it ended up not even being my diaper, which that's a whole nother story.
It was confusing. It was definitely confusing.
It was. Well, you shouldn't wear other people's clothes.
That's true. That's true.
It's called a costume.
It's a snarf. It's where you sneeze and then also just release. It's like traveler's diarrhea. You just go.
I thought that was a Thundercat character.
Snarf?
Yeah.
Actually, he wasn't he?
Snarf, snarf.
Oh, I know.
There you go.
Is that him?
That is
Oh,
Snarf.
okay, close to it.
I going back to Burnout, I definitely, as we started this project, thought there was a potential to destroy you with Burnout.
It did in some ways. You heard it in my voice. Because this...
Yeah, but like that I wasn't worried about. I wasn't worried about the physical toll it would take on you, which maybe that was a little ignorant of me, but like I was worried about the mental toll.
It was the throat chakra for me that was starting to... It wanted to close, and that's why it was getting so tight. That chakra... I had to do so much work. There was an hour and a half I had of prep work before I got to that theater that had to happen. It had to, in the exact same order. And when I was working on the throat chakra, because my voice would be fine, but that chakra, it would want to stop talking. It's this being told your whole life, do not talk about this. There's no one that's going to listen to you. And so my voice would start to constrict because it went back to...
So it's not even like a physical thing. It was a mental... It was like a mental...
It was both. And I couldn't tell, like, do I need more spray, another lozenge, or is my chakra just closing up? And it was...
And it's
the
in
combination
those
was maddening because I didn't know how to take care of myself. Because I would have a meditation, I would breathe, I would do my stretches, I'd do my core work, I'd come off the mat, and I would, I'd be fine. Then I get to the theater, and all of a sudden I'm talking, and I'm like, and now for this next song, You Do Something to Me by Cole Porter. Hit it. I'm like, who's up here now?
I know. Well,
It's weird because that it was getting blocked. But that's what that character's getting. It's happening. He's getting blocked at every direction, but he's not giving up. There are moments where I was on stage, like I don't know if I can say another word, but I'm going to say the rest of this sentence.
That's a hard thing.
I'm going to say it
for a neurotypical person to understand. I think.
I just learned about it. I don't understand really how. It
I
worked.
just assumed that I was neurotypical. I was just shaking my head, like, no, I get that, but maybe I'm not neurotypical.
I don't think you are.
No, no, because
I think it, no. What I guess where I'm coming from, and I don't mean to cut you off, Claire, but like all of the prep and stuff, and all that you needed to do mentally to get yourself where you were. Part of me is like, come on, let's get fucking on with it. Like, there's a part of me that's like, I don't understand why you need to rest your voice. I don't understand why, like, because I've done that much dialogue in a play before. I've been on stage for 3 hours straight.
Yeah.
And like, you have to take care of yourself, but like, I don't have to do all of this other stuff to get to where I need to go. So I think maybe even at times I was a little insensitive to the needs that you needed to prepare yourself with, because you're dealing both mentally and physically at something where I'm thinking, well, just physically, I don't understand. So that's what
you need to go to
by
chakra school.
Well, that's true too, because the minute he said my throat chakra, I was going to look to you and go, Claire, can you explain what that is?
It's energy field.
I couldn't have everything
body.
lined up at once. There was never a night I had everything lined up at once. If I did, I probably would have exploded. There was one night where I just let it all out, and I was like, ooh, I got really close to like falling into the abyss and like losing my shit on stage.
It's very hard to have your chakras completely aligned and then also live in a world with everyone else when your energies are being attacked. I feel because I completely relate to the physicality of being unable to perform in terms of vocal stress. And it's like you can actually be taking complete care of your voice, but it's actually what your mind does to it.
Yeah.
And because your voice can be perfectly fine,
the body's starting to constrict, the throat starts to constrict,
your vocal cords are constricting,
then you
are stressed.
Yeah.
Your mind is telling you one thing, and your mind is an incredibly powerful tool, and it's going to directly affect everything that happens. So like last year when we did our show, vocal noise, joyful noise.
It's a very different show.
joyful hubbub.
I was convinced that there was something wrong with my voice.
It wasn't.
And I was so
great every night.
Every night I was like, it's not going to come out. It's not going to come out.
And it did.
And it came out every night.
Mm-hmm.
And it could have, I don't know if these stories that I make up in my head are true, but I'm like, well, it's because I'm talking too much during the day. It's because I don't get enough vocal rest at work. It's because I did something, I coughed the wrong way, and now I probably have a damaged vocal cord. Like I'm telling myself these things, and I'm, I didn't steam my throat before the show, so I'm not going to have a good show.
Yeah, you have the routine. The thing is too, the prep work.
This is all new to me.
The prep work stuff for me wasn't just energetic work. It was laying on the mat with my weights, with my neck stretcher that would stretch my neck out, to stretch my back out, to roll my back out, to roll my legs out, so I wouldn't hurt myself. I mean, jumping up and down off that stage seems like nothing, but I mean, I'm not a
Light on your feet.
spring chicken.
Light on your feet. You
No.
sprung like a chicken, though, my
But
friend,
I
every time.
But I
Yeah,
loved it,
every
and
time.
I
was
caught
like,
air. I
Oh,
caught
wow.
air.
Well,
It was
you didn't
cool.
want to get run over by that imaginary train.
No, I didn't. What, the scene or the?
No, when you
both?
jump back on the stage,
Yeah.
I always said like,
I missed it. I missed
for a
it.
26-year-old. He's got.
I
a lot of
missed
spring
it
and
one
stuff.
night. I missed it the first night I tried it. I missed.
In rehearsal.
And everybody was like, "Oh, you okay?" I was like, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine." I was in so much pain. I wanted to cry. I was like, "You're all right." I was like, "No, I'm fine." Went home. My leg was blue, yellow, orange, pink.
Grady
I still have a
bruises
welt
very easily.
right here.
You keep
He's
calling
like
it
fruit.
a whelp.
He's kind. He's like a piece of fruit. He's like a delicate
Oh.
Isn't
piece
it
of
a
fruit.
welt?
You're like a piece of fruit. Excuse you.
Okay, let's not argue about this.
But-
I need to
I'm
know
just
if it's a
saying.
whelp
But
or a
that
welt.
work to me was just the homework I needed to do. That yeah, we just had 7 performances, but
You
it was worth it.
You don't think you have a math brain, but I think you calculated the jump had to be much higher, and so each time you went much higher.
I kind of did each higher. And now that I'm through the
Unconscious
show, I've
math.
just been eating like shit. I think I've put back on the weight I lost during the show. I realized, God, Grady, you were getting like a 2.5 hour workout.
Yeah.
Just in
You
the
got to be
theater.
careful because what's her name had permanent back problems from falling during Into the Woods.
Who?
Laura
Bernard?
Benanti. Do you remember this?
No.
Laura Benanti. So during Into the Woods, the character Cinderella has
Where they
to.
wheel her out?
She falls on stage.
Oh, she does fall a lot.
Twice. I
on
think
the
during
stairs.
the show.
Yeah, she hurt her back.
And so she hurt her back, and then she was told to do the same thing every single night, and then
Not cool.
it wasn't cool because she ended up having like permanent back.
You can
failure.
warm up as much as you want. If you're not doing things properly,
Yeah. I mean, and I had to, and when I did Cinderella in our little community theater show, I just made sure I wore knee pads every single day.
me too.
And
And that wig basically it
Weighed like 80
it
pounds.
cushioned your fall, right? Each
It
time.
would have.
If you got to see Claire's face,
It-
I always bring up the wig.
but
it's interesting when you use flotation
knee pads
devices
one
as
time-
costume pieces, right? Because you didn't realize that was a flotation device
She's
from
so
the
mad at me.
Titanic. It was a replica.
the one
One
night
of the
one
big-
night I didn't wear the knee
pads.
pads,
Yes, knee
and
pads.
I really hurt myself.
It's not worth it. Because listen, if you're doing
hurt
a show
yourself
like
or to
that-
wear the knee
to hurt
pads?
yourself.
Okay.
If
No.
you go down, the show goes down. Who else is going to do the thing? I don't know. For me, it doesn't matter if anybody knows what prep I'm doing, and that's not even like.
But you have to make sure that you are wearing a flotation device when you have to do those things.
A little bit. I mean, with roles like that, if you're in your equity, you're doing that on Broadway. You've got a trainer. You're in Pilates classes.
But she
you're
didn't.
doing
What's her name
no,
didn't.
And I just had my own self.
Because that was the late '80s, right?
Yeah.
It was
They
like
didn't care
89
about
or
you
something.
then.
But also, I wanted him to feel as much as a 15-year-old kid would feel, and a 15-year-old kid is not.
But
as
you're not a
active as you.
15-year-old kid, Grady.
I understand that.
Oh no! Here we go.
I'm just saying that. But a
There we
15-year-old kid, people think of them so much more. They're so active. I'm like, actually, they're not very active, and they're kind of pudgy.
I think I got one in the other room still sleeping.
I'm serious though. They have baby weight, and they're not like super like running around all the time. They're kind of a little like Snorlaxes. They're like a little bit like sedentary.
So do you think
They can
teenagers
be.
have burnout?
Do
I do
15-year-olds
th- I
have
do think
burnout?
that- I
Oh
do
my
think
god!
they
I
do.
think more than ever they do.
Yeah, they definitely
I think
do.
they more than ever do.
Wait, so I have questions
yeah,
about
do
this.
it. Let's ask him.
Is burnout something you experience after?
I think I know where you're going. This is interesting.
I'm just like when you finish something, it like let's say tomorrow, like I passed my test. Yay.
Congratulations.
Yippee skippy.
You may not feel the burnout for that for a month or two.
Well, I've had
I'm
burnout
serious,
before.
but it may take something else to trigger that. That's what's so complicated with burnout. Something else may come in, and then it opens that up because you
Yeah.
didn't deal with that.
So-
So just make sure you deal with it.
I had something happen in college where I had a really tough semester. I put so much pressure on myself. It was over. And I remember taking my last test, and my teacher came up to me and said, you wrote your paper on the wrong topic. And I'm like,
Oh my God. Were you just that in tunnel vision that you just couldn't even stop?
I was doing like 5 different papers for all my classes.
You were working through burnout, and that makes you wow.
Crazy.
That's clouding. Just wow. That's
And so
crazy,
I was like,
Claire.
first of all, how did
You wrote your paper on the wrong topic.
I'm like, how
but
did-
was it good?
I don't know, but whatever happened was she said, can you rewrite it and give it to me tomorrow? And I was like,
What?
this essay that I've had to spend at least 3 months on, I can just check.
But
And I was like,
at
yeah,
that
I'll do
point,
it.
you probably just cranked it out.
I did. I did it in 4 hours. And I made sure. So the night before, I had stayed up all night to study for 3 exams, which you're not supposed to do. They tell you specifically at school. They're like, don't, if you have 3 exams scheduled in one day, reschedule them.
Yeah.
And then I decided to just do it anyway
One
because
at a time.
it was English major classes. And I'm like, it's just essays. It's not a big deal. But I had papers due for every class. And I stayed up all night to do them. Threw up in the morning before going to class because I don't know. I was like, I had a yogurt. I don't get it. And so I go take all the classes.
Those probiotics didn't get down there.
Yeah, I don't know. I took all the exams. Got the news that I had to rewrite my paper, and then I was like, okay, no problem. I got a salad. I went to the library. I wrote it, and
You
I'm
have a
like,
really good memory.
I'm like, why am I shaking?
Why?
I'm like, what's going on? Like, I'm like having this like fluttering in my chest. That's really weird. I just figured it was because I was hungry or something.
Snickers.
And I'm like, I don't get it. I ate a salad. The salad is healthy. And I wrote the test,
Zero
and then
protein.
I packed up to go home, and I went home for the holidays. I'm like,
I'm sorry to laugh. No, I'm so sorry. I just imagine somebody in the middle of a huge meltdown. Honey, just go have a salad and put on a little lipstick, okay? You're fine.
that's kind of what I
Just have a wedge and a little bit of gloss, even if you have that. Just
Probably
do that
minimal
for me.
dressing.
Minimal
That's
dressing. Yeah.
You know, pushed away the croutons. You know, can't have any of that. We're not gonna put any cheese or protein on this.
Well, it's
So
funny.
you got
Oh, they're
you got
croutons. They're
home.
going to take up too much energy for the croutons. So
To-
just, you
I
don't
mean,
want
really,
those.
like I
loaded
was
with
so
calories.
convinced that I was just doing all the right things. I'm like, yeah, sure. What I stressed out a little
You
bit.
were
it's
doing the
fine.
right things, but in the wrong classes. You were probably wrote a great paper just on the wrong topic.
Well, she gave me an A. I think it's because she felt bad.
She
she
should've.
should. Yeah, thank you.
So what was the result? Like when you got home, did you go into a coma?
So that was the kind of like that was the start of
Did you get sick?
a complete mental change in my life. And I went home. I had the flutteries for a couple days. I was like, Mom, what's this? And she was like, nothing, you're fine.
Walking
And
off.
I'm
No.
fearful. I have fear in me.
I would have took
She's
myself
like-
to the ER.
She was like, but it went away. You know, it wasn't like, it was anxiety. It was anxiety. And because I overdid it. And then what happened was after the fall break, I went back to school and I loaded my plate up again with another bunch of classes. And then I stopped eating. And that's when I had to go to the therapist and I was like, I can't eat. And they're like, why? I'm like, I'm going to throw up. And they're like, why are you going to throw up? I'm like, well, I don't know. And they're like, are you afraid of it? I'm like, yeah, I'm afraid of puking. And they're like, why? So many questions. I don't know what it was. Like after that first therapy session, I went and I ate like 2
I
grilled
don't
cheeses.
feel good. Do something about
Just
it.
saying it out loud maybe frees you a little bit.
Yeah, it was a little bit of like a trick or something, but
Grilled cheese is
it was.
delicious.
They were like, so what happened? Oh, so good. I had 2 grilled cheeses from Duchess this week.
all right, everybody.
Did you with you got to get tomato soup?
Oh,
It's
with
tomato soup.
Soup and Sammy.
Oh, remember that place we went to go? We went to go see your
yeah.
play.
Oh, that was
We went to go
big.
see
That was
Title
a
of the
lot.
Show.
Oh.
We went to a place and discovered one of the great
Like a Soup and
grilled
Sammy
cheese
combo?
and tomato soup.
Called a
combos.
Soup and Sammy.
Yeah,
What is the name of that place?
I have no idea, but we saw everyone there that night.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, it was.
What do
It
you
was
remember
great.
the name of the place?
I don't know.
That's
I
ridiculous.
don't
No, it was-
remember
it was-
anywhere
it was
I
in
go for
Wilton.
dinner.
Can I just say on a sidebar that has nothing to do with anything like that?
Yeah.
You were talking about studying for your exams, and you shouldn't study for 3 different exams in one night.
Write papers for 3 different
Right.
classes. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever really properly studied for any exam in the history of my education.
I would agree with you.
And
About me, not you.
no, I well, you can agree about me too. Ever, I don't think I've ever done that, and I'm the only teacher among the 3 of us. I'm the educator.
I educate
Yes, you do, but like
in a different way. No one actually listens to me.
I
or
listen
comes
to
to
you.
see your shows, motherfucker.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
Anyway.
Support
Studying is hard.
local arts.
Studying is hard.
This
but
is why I was an
You know
English
why?
major
Because you
because
have to
I
be
don't-
taught how to study, and that's
Yeah.
what
Yes,
I
don't think I
No,
ever learned
I
how.
wasn't taught how to study. You have to be taught how to study.
I'm trying to study now, and I've been studying for 5 months, and I still can't remember Africa's most economically important tourmaline sources.
I told you,
I can.
Uganda.
It's not. It's actually wait. I got this. It's Nigeria and Zimbabwe.
That's what we said. You just didn't let us finish.
No, it's Nigeria and Mozambique. See, I got it wrong.
Okay, you need to let me finish.
Let me finish.
Let me. If I could have finished, I would have corrected myself and said Zimbabwe and.
It's actually not Zimbabwe.
I know, but I corrected myself. If you let me finish, I correct myself.
we go.
Mozambique. How are we going to remember that?
Bob Dylan. I'd like to spend some time in Mozambique. The sunny sky is aqua blue.
Okay. Blue, tourmaline.
Thank you. There you go.
Mozambique.
At He and Emmylou. It's off of
I,
Desire.
don't- I was never taught how to
1976.
study, so I can't help you.
Yeah, that's why I was an English major, because I didn't want to study. I wanted to read and interpret my thoughts
Yes,
on paper.
Yes, I'd like that idea.
Well, best laid plans.
Yeah, that's why. That's why.
So when we, as we get back to burnout, I really do believe. I just thought of it as stress until this most recent episode where
You went through
physically-
burnout.
Well, physically, I
Yeah.
was starting to fall apart. That I couldn't ignore it. I couldn't ignore physically what was happening to me.
That's when it gets dangerous, Matt.
Yeah,
I'm not
well,
joking.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I in my defense, I took it seriously,
You
know?
absolutely did.
but it was having to be in either that much pain or to not be able to breathe or any of these things that were like really physically manifesting in me for me to embrace it. I don't know that I've done anything since then, but just do the work. I don't know that I've treated it. I don't know that I've done self-care in any way. I just did the work, and being done with the work, like having all the cues in the computer ready to go for the show, was the thing that gave me the most relief. It was
Yeah.
like finishing the project. So.
I wonder, if you hadn't been doing this show,
Would you have discovered this much about your body and what's going on with you? I don't know.
I don't think so.
No.
And I probably would have been in more trouble. I still would have been a smoker for sure,
Mm-hmm.
which I miss terribly. But
Well,
still,
we don't want that. No, I don't.
you don't want me to miss it
No.
because I miss it.
We don't like smoking. Well,
well, this
the
was
problem
vape,
is
so I
that we
didn't stink like
love
a real
smoking,
yeah,
but
we do.
it's not good for us.
Kids don't smoke ever.
No, don't.
When
There's no
we're
reason
all-
to smoke.
I can't
There's
even
no
convince my
reason
kids
to
to do
smoke.
caffeine, so I feel pretty good about that.
There's no reason to smoke. How do you do caffeine?
Well, I keep offering the youngest one.
Hey,
coffee every
Pills?
morning.
hey, come over
I'm like,
here,
"Do you want
baby.
coffee?" He's like, "No, I don't drink coffee."
Me?
I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, you. Me?
like-
Caffeine? Yeah, come over here. Why? You gonna do something to me? Yeah. Come here, caffeine.
Is this the a little play about the seduction of caffeine?
Yeah.
No, if you start working at Starbucks as your first job, you're going to become addicted to caffeine without even knowing it.
That's an absolute, and I don't agree.
Oh, it happened to me.
Claire didn't just join a Starbucks though. She joined a Starbucks.
You
circus.
realized it was a
Yeah.
Twin Flames
you
organization.
Had a commune of
Oh, you
Starbucks
were
and-
that, honey. That's called Nexium. There's 2 documentaries on it. Were you
Oh,
giving?
that's different. It's
Were
a-
you giving
it's a
money
cult.
to the preacher with the blonde hair up on top of
No,
her head?
all I'm saying is that the first Starbucks that Claire worked at, because I've now met some of these people just randomly, it felt like a real community of people.
Wait a minute, Starbucks. How's it spelled?
STAR.
BKUZ. This
You
is a
know
different one.
X.
Okay, now I know this one
Make sure there's not a Z in there.
because it looks like the regular one, but it's not.
So some of the
Did they take your
myths
blood?
about
Yeah.
burnout is the same as stress.
No.
Well, burnout is stress related. They're not the same, right?
Oh, wait. Here's my question.
Oh, okay.
Does burnout come after, or is it before the end of something? Or is it after the end of something?
I think it can be both, right? Am I
It's
am I
not.
wrong?
It is. It is. There. Listen, we are only on the tip of the conversation of things like this, with mental health. So no, there's no one way for it to happen. There's no one way that it does happen. There's no one way that it will
be black
happen.
and white today.
I think there's a real
It is a
safety
gray
and a
area.
desire to have real answers about something like burnout.
Okay, sure.
You know,
But the thing
Because I
is,
guess I want to know if before I finish something, and this is how I look at it. I'm in a project, and before the project is done, I'm stressed. That's normal for me. It's normal. You just stress
Right.
until it's over.
Right.
And then the burnout is what I experience after the project is over when I'm like,
so you
I'm-
think.
Yeah, that's what I want.
But
it
are you
to
not
be.
processing the burnout while it's happening and you push through it, and then what you are is just exhausted?
Is
Right.
that possible,
Yes,
though?
it is.
You can push through the burnout?
Sure.
Is it possible?
How does that not make it worse, though?
It does make it worse. I've lived my whole life doing that.
Can you
And
work
it's-
yourself?
And it's made a mess of me at times. I'm aware of it. I work on it a lot. But I will push through burnout, and it will seem as though I'm just tired to people, or I can tell myself I'm exhausted, but I'm not. I'm burnt out.
I haven't slept well since my father died. Seriously, I've been tired for 20-something years. I can't tell if I've burnt out or not.
No,
I'm just
that's-
always tired. Everything I do, I'm just tired. Just tired.
Listen, if you think of your body or your chakras as fuses,
I don't know what my chakras are. You guys have to explain this.
We
to me.
got to go
or
send him
just
to
think
chakra
of your
school.
body as a fuse box. If there's a fuse that blew years ago, even though it's not necessarily handling tons and tons of work, it's still burnt out and you have to replace it. And if you don't replace it, it will just keep coming back.
How do you replace
You find it.
a fuse?
You find it. You have
You
to.
got-
How do you find it? You have to open the fuse box and find it.
Matt,
but
do you-
like the metaphor, the metaphor is not going to work for me because I
You
don't
might
know how
need
it translates.
someone to help you to locate it in your body, where it is, where you're holding on to
okay,
it.
so we have energy fields, and let's just talk in terms of feelings. Like, do you feel, do you ever, like, when you feel something that's like sadness or stress, where do you feel that in your body?
That's a good question.
I feel my legs get heavy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my face. I would say my forehead and my eyes feel heavy. My jaw feels tight. My arms feel tight. My stomach and like center feels hollow with a flutter of anxiety or flutter of
So,
like movement, a vibration that's not pleasant.
Okay.
go, Matt.
So that's all.
Claire, go
yeah.
ahead. Yeah, you're in it, Claire.
So those things that you're feeling are actually they're not actually physical things that are they do feel like physical things, but that space in your center, you called it your center.
It's wanting to see moving. It's trying to like. It's,
Your center is not actually a body part. Your center is metaphysical.
Yeah.
So chakra is all metaphysical stuff.
right,
And
and colors.
mhm.
If you want to have to, if you need a visual of how to see them.
Do you ever feel like when you are about to cry, you feel a tightness in your throat,
I do, yeah.
Matt?
I don't.
Or it's okay if you don't. I mean, do you feel it like more in your eyes and your nose? Or
I have in the past when I was not allowing myself to cry,
It just locks up and they're in a knot.
locked it in my throat and stuff.
And that's
like
what
that.
I'm meaning
And
about.
yeah.
So
I would
imagine-
literally push it
Yeah.
down.
Mm.
But I think now when I cry, it's very different than that. I guess because I unlocked something, when my sister passed, and so I can't really control it. So there's less of that block in my throat. It just kind of fucking comes on.
so imagine you have so imagine like you're looking at an image of the body,
Okay.
and you've seen this, I think, like there are circles that go from the head all the way down to the groin area. They're all different colors.
Okay.
So, and those are the chakras. So you have a chakra in your throat that
Blue.
that it's blue. We don't have to talk about colors, I don't think. Not everybody's synesthetic. Has
And
synesthesia.
I'm colorblind, so
You are?
a little
Yeah,
sensitive.
that's true.
You didn't know that?
You're right, though. You're right. No, colors don't
Colorblind and
always
dyslexic.
help.
I'm a
It's okay. It's okay. It's
and I've got some block chakras as well.
but you
so.
but you understand what colors are.
I do.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
that's good. So if you are, let's say you do have the feeling of crying or expressing something, and then you don't, and then
It goes somewhere.
It's not going nowhere.
No,
It's going somewhere,
somewhere,
and it
yeah.
doesn't disappear.
Yeah,
So it's like it's like
Because it wants to feed off something if it can't get out.
You know when you stuff a jar of cotton balls with cotton balls?
No, but I can. I've never done it, but I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like that's.
I mean, no, I've done it too. Yeah.
It's like taking.
Be cool.
I don't want to talk about cotton balls with you. You're from the South.
Wait, what?
What?
I love cotton balls.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, Matt.
Hold on, let me
What'd I
do a
do?
line dance real quick for everybody.
Oh my god.
See if I got my greenback stance with me.
I've got a little. Got a
Yeah,
little fire in me right now.
You really do.
I think we're
It's all the
unlocking something.
I do
Well,
just
we
go
are
on.
putting
No,
him on the
mammy.
spot. We are
Right,
putting him on the spot.
mammy.
Anyway,
That's fine.
you've
I
got
can
chakra
spot.
burnout.
Yeah.
You can go to a healer and they will tell you that your chakras are imbalanced, meaning your root chakra, where you allow an energies through your head, is blocked. Your the energy that comes in and out of your throat is blocked because you're not speaking your truth, or you have completely blocked energy that needs to come out of your throat. Maybe your heart is blocked because you've experienced a lot of pain and you just want it to go away. Your solar plexus, which is all the energy that you feel in your stomach, is blocked. Yes, Grady?
But the other little thing, too, is if you've pushed down something and it's now hiding somewhere else it shouldn't be, it's fucking with that chakra. So if you've not cried and now it's found somewhere else to hide that's like, ooh, this, I can feed off of this, then you've got double the work. Now, if you have somebody like a Reiki master, they can do work on you without even touching you. So at the end of Act 1, after Christopher Boone has read his mother's letters and he's devastated, and I was on stage, we had a really wonderful person playing my mother on the show, and she'd run her hand down the spine of my back and hold my my lower back.
L4.
Yeah, she'd hold that and then grab my hand, and I'd breathe, and I was able to move on. And it helped me immensely, and she knew exactly what she was doing.
Is she a healer?
She's a Reiki master, and she's a Qigong master, yoga master, sorry. Yeah, very, very talented with energy work. And immediately just would hold me up for the base at the base of my spine. She wouldn't take the energy from it or move it. She just helped me stabilize it real quickly. And it was really a beautiful, 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 beautiful thing.
Matt,
And she asked permission before she did that.
Right. What is wrong with me that you're telling this story the whole time and I'm trying to figure out how to make a joke? Like literally, you're telling this beautiful story about how you were connected to another human being and this other human being.
it's probably good that you're not joking about it.
No, exactly. But like
Well, why do you
all I
wanna
was
make a
thinking
joke?
about, like that was all I was thinking about is how do I make a joke about
Because
You
you're
just said it.
you're
touching
trying
you
to
and-
deflect
You don't understand
the
it.
fact that
You're
it's-
wanting to understand.
well everything you listed about all the blocks are like yep all of the above.
that checks
so.
off.
But
So
also,
obviously feeling very vulnerable.
well, I
the
have
moment.
Let's
to
take
say,
advantage of that.
My jokes.
Let me hold your wallet.
well, also I'll tell
Nothing
you
in
that
it.
like
I
I've
have a credit card of yours, by the way.
Yeah, it doesn't work
You
anymore.
I tried it.
Good.
Insufficient funds. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I think so.
we all have that.
Anyway, that was a great explanation. You're right. People don't always see color, and that can be confusing for people to try to put colors with it.
Especially if you're
I think I'm
colorblind.
thinking more of an healing when someone would say, to me, focus on blue light right here as you breathe in, which,
Well, I mean, Matt, listen. Over the last
wow.
listen,
Listen.
over the last 4 to 5 years, I have done some pretty in-depth research onto this personally. I've taken clairvoyant classes where they do talk to you about colors,
Claire.
and I've done.
That'd be a great drag name or a bar.
And I did take some Reiki one time when I was experiencing some pain, and I felt really bad afterward.
Alexander technique.
Done it.
Okay, so that's the same energy kind of work as Reiki, as with chakra work. They just don't call it the chakras in the Alexander technique, but it's the same. It's going to the same party. It's the same thing. Anyway,
But I think
sorry,
it
Claire.
requires a little bit of an aperture, like a spiritual aperture. Like you kind of have to be ready to experience this.
Right, accept it in. You have to be able to at
and
least.
if you're not ready, you're not ready, and that's totally fine. Then don't try to understand it if you don't, and don't try to get it just because your friends are talking about it.
Well, that's true
Like
too.
after I had Reiki, I want to say like a couple weeks later, I decided to meditate like 5 minutes every night before bed. I started to feel energy behind my ears, and in a way I'd never felt it
Near
before.
your lobes. Ooh.
It was disgusting.
Yeah,
it was
that
really
can be, yeah.
it was a feeling I
Slimy.
had. Yeah, it was like
I get
pus
it.
colored.
I get it. Ugh, yeah, totally.
And I was like, "Ooh, what's that?" But like, if you had talked to me a year prior, I would have been like, "That's bullshit." So, whatever your journey you're on is your journey, and
Well, here,
no one can say anything about that.
no, and I
including me.
understand that,
Well
and
said,
I have. Okay, we started back up. The computer went down for a second, so we're jumping back in.
At a really convenient moment where Matt totally got pointed out for
But let's-
not understanding chakras.
but
No, I understand, and for a moment when the computer stopped, I thought maybe unconsciously I had stopped it.
Me
for
too.
Sure.
I was so worried.
I
For sure.
did too.
So we couldn't play it back, so we don't know exactly where we
do.
were. Okay,
we just had
Grady,
like
you take-
another 3 hours of conversation
You
in
were
between.
explaining that.
Took me a while to
Matt,
get the
you were
computer
saying,
going.
why do I feel like I'm laughing when I'm hearing this?
No, that was a while ago. I think. I think you were off. I think you moved back too far. No, I think if you're listening, you're going, yes, Matt, you're right. Grady went back too far. I
Yeah, I
think
did go
I was
back too
saying
far.
something about I think this is what it was. I have been working so hard in therapy for 5 years to connect to my vulnerability and letting it out and being honest. And in this conversation right now, I feel very, very revealed, and maybe there has been some sort of extra layer of protection that I have been putting on myself, and that maybe I haven't been as honest as I thought I was. And so all of this unveiling of all these chakras and things that may be causing them felt very, very real to me and made me sad, for sure. Like all this what feels like good work maybe isn't as, maybe I'm not as far along as I hoped I would be. And so I think that made me sad.
But
and
according
vulnerable.
to what? According to two people who have happened to experience a little bit of a psychic change in their lives in earlier or different stages.
what did you say?
But I just want to say, but aren't you talking essentially about, and it just whittles down to the point of it's not where you start, it's where you're finishing, and you're not finished yet. You're still working. And what we're talking about, I don't know how long it took me to understand this stuff. I have no idea if I even do now. It's easier to talk about it to other people, about other people, than it is by yourself a lot of times. But you're on a journey. You want to go somewhere. You know you want to get there. Isn't being on that journey better than not?
I can't help but accept the milestone in my life that is coming up. And with that,
fair enough.
With that coming
Fair
up,
enough, yeah.
Wait, what milestone is coming up?
I'm gonna be 50 this year.
You mean next year? It's not yet 2024.
I understand that, but it's like not that far.
Let's not worry about it. It's exciting.
Well, you're not the one buying a car today.
He already bought a car, and it was
I know
last week.
it was a bad. It didn't work.
Did I?
It didn't land.
I don't know if I told you I
He
bought
bought a car.
You did?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I
see, there I am.
There you
Oh,
go.
my chakras are open. I'm psychic. See what happens? That's all
By
it
the way,
takes.
you're
I got rat food, and then I decided to
Wait a minute.
compensate by buying a car.
I'm seeing.
Should I not have said that, Claire?
I'm seeing. Wait,
No, that's not what
a
happened. But still,
Ford
it could've been, right?
Granada, a Mini Coupe, a Peugeot.
A Peugeot. That's what I got. I got a Peugeot
Thank you for not correcting that, because that's where they say it.
with a long, fat European license plate. So I'm gonna get pulled over very soon.
Oh, I've met him before. Jack?
Yes, Jack.
Oh.
Is that what you called it? A license plate?
We called it his plate. Yeah, we called it like his
plate.
like his
plate.
yes, his
Well,
No.
your therapist is not going to
His
want to
vanity
talk about
plate.
chakras. That's not who you're going to talk to.
Well, that's an interesting point too.
No, I understand. I get all that, but like you were listing things, and I was thinking to myself, I'm pushing these things down, and I pushed these things down for a long time, and then I thought I was in therapy, and I wasn't pushing things down, and then I just have to say, like lately, I have expressed myself in different ways to different people, and felt like there has been what feels like, I can't think of a better way to say it, data to say don't express yourself so much.
It didn't go the way you wanted it to go.
No, that's not true.
And that's
That's absolutely not true. It's really not true.
You didn't have any expectations about it. You just felt
I really felt like in my expression, I have been very, like, more evolved than I ever have, and I really haven't had expectations for it.
Right.
I really, and in some of these instances, really wanted to just really express myself, and the result of it has been, in some ways, I've been fine and better than I thought I would be, but also there's been this continued sign of like expressing yourself has led to chastisement, lecturing, like in this thing that we were talking about that I just made a joke about before, as one example, was really something like I felt like normally I would take the feeling that I got from it and I would push it down and I would just make everything okay around it, but like it really like hurt my feelings, and I thought, well, here's me being involved.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to express myself. And this was like the I want to say the fourth time I feel like I've expressed myself within the last 6 months in a way where like this, that I felt like I was met with a bit of a finger wag in my face.
But that doesn't mean you shouldn't
But
do
I was about
it.
to say, but isn't expressing yourself the main goal? Who cares? Gives a fuck about the finger wag? You did what you needed to do, and let it out. So why is that not celebrated?
In the end, what happens is that other person gets upset, and I fucking apologize.
Okay, well then that's a whole separate thing from expressing yourself. That's RSD.
Which is what again?
Well,
There's a poem about it in here.
There is?
Yeah.
Well, it's
Let me
not a...
read the poem. Anyway, so I just you're saying
No,
all these
we're not
things, and I
moving.
just- I
We're
just-
not moving on from that.
I'm not saying we should, but
No, this isn't a chronic arm stroke or heart attack. That's something else.
right.
You're not having that.
No, you've got a book over there. Why don't you use this?
It's rejection-sensitive dysphoria. It's when you experience severe emotional pain because you're feeling failure, feeling rejected, feeling unseen, feeling told you need to tone it down, and that is it's an emotional physical feeling. It hurts physically. It's very emotional.
I mean,
Yes.
isn't
And
it normal
it
that
can-
you would feel that way?
Not for everybody.
That
No.
after you express yourself and it doesn't go like it's not met with love and it's not met with understanding, but it's met with what Matt described as a finger wagging, and that, of course, that I think that would make you feel a little upset.
But then you have to be able to separate the two and go, my expression of myself is one thing. The result of this other person's response is another thing.
Right.
How do I handle that? But also celebrate the fact that I was able to say what I needed to say.
Because the other person's
can't blend the
reaction
two.
to whatever you're saying is actually, and just, I'm going to say this
Okay.
without
Just say
it being harsh, but it's none of your business. It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's about them.
And also your
and I will say
expression-
in one of these cases I was really fine with that. That just showed me an incredible lesson, and I was able to accept that, even if I didn't like the feeling of it. Like there was a real clarity in that.
I guess my question is why
I
was
guess
that
I guess on the other side of it, though, even though it may not be about me, I still make it about us.
Is that your mind
Like-
trying to make sense of it or sometimes is the question just open-ended? If you need to make sense of it, it's going to find the way to work on the deficit.
No, I guess I guess
don't know. Is that too complicated?
I don't know. I guess from my perspective, I'm always thinking about the us in it as opposed to the me or the them.
Right.
You know?
But that's
and I guess that also hurts in itself too, because I'm like, I'm caring about the us as a whole,
right,
and you're caring only about you. And I guess maybe there's part of jealousy where I wish I could be more like that.
The ego a little bit too.
Well,
An
it's,
ego-
that can't
but it's,
help
absolutely.
It. That gets
maybe
in
it's
there.
the other
Absolutely.
But
person
that's when the
having
impasse
a.
on the road comes in. Do you keep going straight and carry it all with you, or go, I've got to drop this part off and then carry on with myself and deal with this? Because this part's not coming.
This last example has made me feel like not wanting to express myself. Like that has made me feel less likely to want to share my feelings.
In whatever way that was.
Yeah.
Or just in
Because-
general.
Because the
Well, in
person you
general.
expressed it to was upset by the fact that you said what you said, and it wasn't like, Matt, I'm mad that you expressed your feelings to me. It's more like, what? To me, I look at that as 100% on them. Their reaction is their reaction,
Yeah.
and you did what you needed to do, so you keep your side of the street clean.
It doesn't feel clean. It doesn't feel clean.
Well,
because,
but
because
that's-
then I went back to my people pleasing ways, and like, I'm sorry I did this.
And these are negative. These are. I don't want to say the word negative. These are unhealthy
Well, they're roadblocks.
patterns
You
that
put up
we
roadblocks
that we
that you've already
create in
taken
our
down.
lives.
Yeah.
But
These are things that we have to work on. This is where
It's so interesting. You work to take the roadblocks down so you can express yourself. Then you express yourself. You're like, nope, these have got to come back
Yeah.
up. And then you put them back up, and you're like, oh, fuck, now I got
it's
to
hard.
get through these again
It's
to
hard
go back
because
there.
because your boundaries are like you want
They're
like at least
sensitive.
for me, I have created boundaries that I know will hurt other people.
Yeah.
But I have to do that because I have to protect myself.
Right.
So you know you have certain boundaries that will ultimately
Yes.
hurt someone's feelings.
Yes.
And you have to do that.
I have
and
to
you
do
know
that.
if you don't, well, you're not willing to see what that consequence will be. It could be not eating, not sleeping. I don't know. I'm just asking.
Wait, sorry.
No,
If,
no,
if
no.
I don't
Consequences to who?
To not adhering to your boundaries.
Yes.
That's,
Oh yeah.
That is really self-discipline, and that's hard to
Well,
say. I
and-
know this will hurt somebody, but I have to do this.
But like it feels like you've earned the right to have those for yourself.
But you
through
also-
bad ex-
yeah.
Sounds positive, but it's not. It's like I've had
That's intense.
extremely negative physical reactions to not creating boundaries.
or to breaking your own. Do you know what it's like to break your own boundaries and
Yeah,
then
it's-
feel even
yeah, it's
worse because
so bad.
you betrayed yourself, which that's a horrible feeling, isn't it? It's so selfish and egotistical, but to betray yourself is a really terrible thing. It takes a piece of your soul.
Fucking do it all the time. Whatever.
Yeah,
Do
but
you?
but Matt,
The
but
fact that you can say it out loud, I don't think you do. I
Whatever.
don't think you do it all the time. I don't think you betray yourself all the time.
but if
No, I don't agree.
your boundaries are
I don't have
wiggly,
I don't have boundaries. I really don't have boundaries. That's
You
you have
probably my
broken
problem.
fences. You have some broken fences. Listen,
I
Oh,
need
wow.
to
It's
fucking
taken-
Tom Sawyer this bullshit up. is
it's
what I need
taken
to-
me
I'll whitewash
it's taken
with
me
you.
so many
Thank you.
years. I mean, I've been in therapy for 20 years. Oh my
Yeah.
god. No, sorry,
Honey,
15.
you've only been here since like what? What time is it? Daylight savings. You've been in therapy since.
I've
like,
been in therapy
9.
for 15 years. You've been in therapy for what? 4?
6,
Yeah, like give yourself a break.
maybe 5.
It takes a long fucking time.
I
And this is all because I wrote my essay on the wrong topic and then I ate a salad. This started because of that.
salad. It started because of a salad.
My God.
At the
And
end of this episode, what did we learn?
push the croutons away.
Avoid salads.
But push the croutons away.
Push the croutons away. Light.
Didn't have
dressing.
croutons.
What kind of salad doesn't have croutons?
It was a Greek salad, and I love Greek salads. It had Kalamata
today.
olives and
Fuck
tomatoes.
feta.
Not today.
Yeah, I said it. Fuck feta.
I'm gonna get you a hat that says that. Fuck off, respectively, feta.
Red onions.
I'm only mad at feta for other reasons.
Foot off, feta.
Anyway, back to Burnout.
Yeah.
I know.
We totally.
But this all
went
does
away.
go back to burnout because we burn ourselves out when we also don't feel like we've achieved our goals. But we're the only ones setting these goals. We're the only ones with these expectations. I don't understand what we put ourselves through. What we put ourselves
know.
through. I don't understand it. I really don't.
Well, it's like we are
Familiarity.
more than
You
one
can't
person.
adjudicate yourself. You can. I don't even know what I'm trying
It's
to
also
say.
so much for why we
Look,
do it to
I'm addicted to
ourselves.
gambling.
There's
No,
a
I don't
poem
know.
about that in here somewhere.
There's
I know
not.
there is.
That's from Jerry Blank. That's Strangers with Candy.
There are two people within us. One is the higher self. And then the other, well, there's at least more than two, I think. But then there's the judge.
There's 3.
Well, I definitely have.
The judge is the one that's
hang out a lot.
The judge is the one
Judge
that's
Judy, who has no nonsense. Get us
I
out of my
wish I had a
courtroom.
judge. I have a little bit of a Judge Judy within me, who's
Yeah,
the
you-
one that's
you
telling
definitely do.
me
You
to
definitely
put up
do.
those boundaries. But then I
I
have
wouldn't fuck with you.
thanks.
I mean, I wouldn't. I think you could be very scathing. When you
I
need,
can
when you
be.
need to be.
I actually can be, and sometimes when I don't mean to be, I can be. a
No,
little
I
scathing.
just, yeah. I mean, yeah.
No, I mean,
I mean, being
you-
just being a woman, fucking have being a woman, having to be in the world of just who knows what. So I keep kicking you. Man.
It's all right.
Sorry.
I keep putting my legs out.
with my New Balance.
He just apologized for you kicking him.
I know. I just heard that. Let's go over that.
So burnout.
Claire, I want to go into your poop chakra. Or your what's the back, not the
You
back
want
door.
to give me a
All right,
metaphysical
should I
colonoscopy?
should I take a call from Sally Rose?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
Hey, I'm here with Grady and Claire.
Can I see both of them?
Sure.
Yes.
Oh yes, we didn't know if you want to talk.
We're potting right now.
What's happening?
We're potting right
We're
now.
podcasting.
Oh my god, let me just see Grady and then hang up on you.
Hey, Angel. Hi. How you feel? You feel okay?
I'm gonna call you later.
I feel like death warmed over, but I'll text you.
Okay. Love you. Please take care of yourself. Ice. Let me know if there's anything you
We'll
need me to
see
do.
you
We're
later.
around all week.
I love this.
We love you.
Okay, bye, have fun.
Bye.
Love you. Love you. Love you.
Is there anything I could do for you?
No, I'll text you.
I have granola.
You don't look like death.
Actually, you don't.
You gotta. Well, it's all right. Again, the
I
other
can read
guy.
you a poem.
You
Go
look
to
like
the
you were
other guy.
attacked by a Dementor.
Do you before you go? Claire's gonna read you a poem.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. It's
Yay,
from
Sally Rose
it's
is here.
it's from a book called Poems of the Neurodivergent Experience.
So cool.
You got her.
Okay, this one is called Numb. When something so bad happens, all the emotions pile up until they are too much to process, and I just become numb. Unable to cry, unable to process that this is real. This doesn't feel real. I cannot cry. My brain tries to distract itself, forget the truth, but it will not go away, and the tears will not come out.
I have the opposite problem.
I don't think so. I think I don't know. I'm just recalling a memory.
Hey, Sally Rose, I
From
did
quite
just tell the
recently.
story of you me being like, hey, can you hold this? And you grabbed my T-shirt and screamed and looked at me and went, that was really wrong, but it's actually something I would do. So, I mean.
Can I just say that the minute I saw that you called, it came up on the computer and stuff like that. I was like, should I take a call from Sally Rose? And they both were like, yes. So there's a lot of
I feel very warm inside.
there's a lot of love for you.
Opposite of no.
We love you.
There's a lot of love over here for you.
Okay, I'll text y'all later.
All right.
Bye.
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 Yay.
All right.
How's that going to read on here on the
I
podcast?
don't know. We'll
That's
see.
a rough hit, man. You know what? That's one of those that just looks worse than it you know that it is.
No, I think
But
well from
I'd be
this.
sure it
so
hurts like a
pissed
motherfucker.
if I got hit by a meteorite like that.
Yes,
It just
Just
came
out of
right
the
out of the
sky?
sky, didn't
right
it?
out of the sky. We're
Yeah.
making the story fantastical, so it's cooler.
Yeah.
Oh.
She did say that because of her quick reaction, she really thinks that she saved her sight and her eye. That's how bad it was.
Jesus.
Yeah.
She had a quick reaction.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like
Like,
a-
Like she
impulse.
protected herself and
Duck
Yeah.
and cover.
but she still got hit.
yes, but not directly in the
This is like the
eye.
shower talk. Let me take this. So Claire,
Oh,
if
no.
I'm coming at you, you're gonna you're moving.
Mm-hmm.
That's your reaction chakra.
Mm-hmm.
So yours is blocked. So if I'm like this, I'm like, why did you move? You're like, oh, I'm blocked. But you didn't block.
I'm confused. So did she react with her chakra or no?
Both.
Also, how did she know it was coming if it was coming from the sky?
Instinct.
Does she have antennas? She's got some pretty cool hair.
Yes,
Could have
that hair definitely
is hiding
has-
some antennas.
And now let's go back to the studio with Patricia.
Okay, so if none of that works, then we'll just cut it out. But like, hey, we got to take a call. Burnout. So burnout causes a certain vulnerability in us, right?
That is absolutely
think-
a huge thing, I think, to leave with. Burnout does create a cavernous, huge pit of vulnerability. It really does.
This really went in a different direction than I thought it was going to go
What we do with that,
Yeah.
and how we treat that vulnerability is really how you deal with the burnout. And that is very, very important, because if you don't treat it with care, if you don't at least recognize it, even if you can't deal with it that day, you've got to recognize it and take it and place it. You can't freeze it out and leave it. You have to deal with it. But yes, it does. Burnout creates huge vulnerability, which is why, again, if you look at spectrum burnout, it's so isolating. It's isolation. You have to isolation because you don't feel safe around other people.
It feels like,
And that's
spectrum burnout, though. In order to deal with it, you need outside help. You need your community to understand that vulnerability in a way.
You can't count on that. I don't have that.
No, but then you're only going to treat it by withdrawing.
You have to sometimes. You have to.
So is that really dealing with it?
Yeah. It's isolating and having and when you have someone that is like, no, you need to come out. I'm like, you don't understand. I can't. I will be able to, but I need time. I have to have some time. It's really hard to explain. And I think maybe there are times where maybe it would help to come out a little bit, but you sometimes can't risk that.
What do you think in terms of
I can't risk that.
burnout therapy? It's not burnout therapy, but what is the question? My question is like it.
I've never been able to identify that type of feeling that you're expressing. I've never had that feeling specifically that you just described.
Uh-huh.
I've just had it's almost like every week I experience this. Unable to do stuff because I'm so exhausted. Mentally, I'm exhausted, which then translates to physicality. Like I can't do anything. Like it requires a massive amount of effort to do laundry.
You have those moments you've said before too, where you just you can't do it. You can watch some footy and maybe that's it, but you just can't even.
I don't have a choice. Like
Well,
I'm
about to say, but that goes into
I'm a parent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
you're busy.
I had the show. So when I was
And you're a
literally
parent to
sick,
that show.
You're you go to work and you deal with children
Yeah.
and you have to be a parent to those kids too.
He just
I can
locks
bribe them
locks
with
them in the
candy, though,
lockers,
so-
or just stuffs them in the lockers.
they're
Bribe them with candy?
large. They're large lockers. I do bribe them with candy from time to time.
You don't do any other form of discipline. You just bribe them with candy.
Oh, I do forms of discipline, but like before we get to the discipline part, I like sip a little candy and
Don't make me get the
that
hose.
follow the direction. No, I'm the cool teacher. They like me. I got a chill vibe, and they respond to that more than anything. But when I do have to drop the hammer, I have to drop the hammer, and it's not pleasant for anybody. But every time I've had to drop the hammer this year, that student has then come back and apologized for it, and we've had a nice long conversation about like, look, I'm on your side. You know, I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't want to have to do this. I'm giving you so many opportunities to turn your behavior around. But anyways, I do everything tired. Like I do everything exhausted. So I don't know that I've ever dealt with my burnout outside of the times that I go to therapy and when I meet with you guys and just talk through feelings and try to put my vulnerability out there. Today, for some reason, and maybe it's because we have not met in a while, I felt more guarded in terms of my responses. Not even like on purpose, but like I felt like when people were vulnerable or talking about certain things, I wanted to make jokes, that I wanted to find the jokey way through it. And
But you didn't.
It's 2 against 1 here, so I would have felt that way too.
yeah,
Well, that's an interesting point too.
but I usually don't feel that way. Like with the two of you, usually I'm pretty like, well, at least I thought I was pretty like open to that
You are.
vulnerability.
There's a lot of things you're open to that most cis hetero men would not be open to even talking about.
Oh, thank you.
So I just feel like if you want to be the total package, you know, what does she say in my best friend's wedding? You know, you have to be. Well, you're never going to be Jello, okay?
I just think that the amount of the freedom of the
Your best show is still out there.
yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna punch you.
But it is. And if you believe that with the show, it has to translate to life, or you don't really believe what you're saying.
I don't know. I'm a little.
You know,
I'm a little lost these days, and I think part of it is this what feels like a very milestone in my
Well,
life.
but here's
It
a
is a
question: do you
milestone.
want to feel found, or do you want to always be searching? I like searching.
Maybe if you've never been found, you don't know the difference.
Stop it with your profoundness,
But
Claire.
I know Claire's coming in hard today. But
I know what I think artistically I always want to be searching, but I think in life I would love to feel found.
There is there's a thing if I ever feel content, I then enjoy it for about 5 minutes, and then I'm looking for the next way to mess up my life. I don't know I'm doing that. I'm just like,
you just said it.
yeah, but there are
Not
ways,
during, right?
the ways that I do it.
See.
Like
When
I
you can look back and go, oh, there it was, there
Yeah.
it was, there it was, there
yeah,
it
I'm
was.
like, oh wait, why did I do that?
And then the moment you're like, oh, I should eat the rest of this entire cake. Why am I sick?
Well, it's like during the pandemic, like when we first did lockdown, I was actually kind of like happy for the first time in a really long
I think
time.
people all, in a weird way,
I was like,
thought they were happy for
I was
a
like,
minute.
the world's shutting down. I don't have to do anything. Oh my God, I don't have to go to work. This is amazing.
1 month later.
And then I downloaded the dating apps.
Oh God.
That's when I decided to do
That's
it.
a rabbit hole.
I'd been putting
That's
it
called
off for
doom
years.
scrolling. That's getting good. You put it off for a good reason.
And then, but then I engaged.
You're like, everybody's sick now, and it's all body contact.
And
Let me
then
get on
all of a
dating
sudden I
app.
was talking to people that I couldn't meet up with.
So you did it because you knew nothing could happen.
Yeah,
it was kind of
there was probably a
insane.
safety to that.
There's that-
but you're connecting to someone, even if it is on the surface and bullshitty, but you could be flirty in a way that maybe you wouldn't be face to face, and there were no consequences to it.
I mean, a weird part was that I met up with somebody, and I was living with my parents at the time. I'm still living with them, and
We don't judge.
and they were
You
like,
shouldn't judge.
they were like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go out." They were like, "No one goes out. Where are you going?" And I was like, for the first time in 2 months, I like put jeans on and a shirt and lipstick.
Magazine.
And they were like, "You're not." I'm like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go meet with some guy." They were
Some
like,
random
"What
guy."
guy?" John. What's his last name? H. Where are you going?
See
Somewhere.
his license plate.
Somewhere.
It sounds like a Bumble date.
My dad was like, "Give me your keys. You're not coming back into this house when you get back."
Wow.
Yeah, my dad's kind of an extremist like that. But anyway, that was just I probably shouldn't have said that person's real name. I didn't. But anyway, back to Burnout.
John Henderson.
Henderson.
John, if you're listening, it
so-
didn't. You blew it.
Yeah, well, it didn't work out. It's fine. It was fun. It was fun while it lasted. It was kind of one of those things that you make a friend in a time when you wouldn't have expected to make a friend.
Yeah.
But we were talking about something.
As we often do, and then lose where we are. I think as we're wrapping it up, more than anything, it's how do you deal with burnout? How do you treat it? Is there anything that you can do? Is it just time? Is that the thing that takes care of
For some
what
people.
burnout is? Is there a way to prevent burnout in the process so that you're not experiencing
Yeah,
it?
there is, but it takes a lot of
But what's the fun
control
in
and
that?
wherewithal.
There's no fun in that. None.
Well, there is, because there's less fun in being burnt out and having a meltdown. So I'll take the preparation over having the meltdown any
Well,
day.
see, but you have meltdowns, right?
Yes.
Do you have meltdowns?
No,
I don't really have meltdowns.
I'm just kidding. I always have meltdowns.
Well,
No, I don't.
Now
I-
it's
like,
two.
I-
Now it's 2-on-1,
No, but like
and I'm
there's
having one now. What's happening?
there's a jealousy in me, like because there's a way to express the meltdown. There's a way to express
Oh,
everything
God.
through meltdown. No,
No.
When things are
No,
okay,
you know
it
what?
feels odd.
Meltdown seems like it's like you're melting down, but you're not. It's like you're building up this like what do you call it? It's like this.
Are we back to the real chrysalis?
Yeah, you're becoming
Chrysocolla.
this. You're building up all this. You can't speak. You instead of speaking, your mouth just creates foam. You foam at the mouth. You spit.
It's
back
not
to
it's not an
Ricky's again?
expressive expression of anything.
It's an expression of like this. I'm be blunt. Bodily fluids. You can cause you to wet your pants, to have diarrhea. Sorry, just being honest.
Or a
Cry
meltdown.
uncontrollably. Being able to just make sounds with just foam spitting out of your mouth,
Yeah,
but you can't
no, no.
form words.
No, I get that.
You're
That's
trying
happened.
to talk,
That happens.
having to hold yourself up onto a surface, but you can't lie down because you're spinning. And yeah, a meltdown looks like that
and
often.
someone comes up to you and says, "Here's a glass of water and take a
But you-
breath."
but when-
and then you say "fuck off," but actually it helps.
But if you're with someone who cares and knows about what those are and knows about you, they know not to come near you or touch you or look at you or even bother you at all. Because you might think you're saying something, but what I'm sounding like is, and I wouldn't do an imitation of it because that's very ableist. And it's even to do an imitation of myself is doing myself a disservice. It's very ugly. It's really ugly. And it's just, it's ugly. It's ugly. And it can take days to weeks to recover from.
So a neurodivergent meltdown and a neurotypical meltdown are probably very, very different.
Yeah, in that sense.
You know?
Yeah.
Because like in my language, I did not think of a meltdown. It seems like the end of the road of stress and stuff, and it's like shedding everything.
And that often is what a meltdown would be in some
like the
way.
result. But,
Sure, yeah.
But it's pretty ugly getting there, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And
Is there a feeling of relief though when it's over? No, it's just
sometimes
a deeper exhaustion.
Sometimes, but usually it's the deeper exhaustion that then you have to deal with. And because I don't really have any friends. I don't have any friends on the spectrum. I mean, to even have that really cool 6-year-old come up to me, the kid in me just wanted to talk to him and hang out with him and like watch Star Wars because I just felt like here's somebody else who's kind of like me. So not having anybody to talk to about it is hard. You can talk to a therapist all you want, but they're reading from a book.
Yeah.
It's really interesting and it is hard. I would love to have a community, but I don't. But I have good friends right here sitting with me who listen to me
Well,
and appreciate me, and I appreciate that so much. That means the world.
Well, certainly every point of my ignorance about it, I've learned something from you. Maybe not even right away, but along the way, have learned a different, you know.
I think you've
A-
learned
a
a lot about
different perspective.
yourself, even just from picking up Chloe
Yeah,
Hayden's
sure.
book for the first time.
Sure,
I think
for
everybody
sure.
would, benefit from that.
Yeah.
I think even just doing this podcast, we've all learned a little bit of something about ourselves.
Oh my gosh!
I hope
yeah.
so.
So burnout, we don't really.
I'm burnt out on
There's
it.
so
Have a-
much. There's so much.
Is this one of those other topics that we're like, yeah, well, there'll be a part 2 sometime?
Well, I mean, it just made me think about a lot of things, and
That one word means so many different things.
yeah, it does. And as we touched on today, is that each one of you has brought something that made me think of burnout in a different way, and not just the tip. And then I just in this like last 10 minutes, I was just thinking about a complete reaction I had to something last year where I was incapable of explaining and I was incapable of talking. And yes, there were fluids coming out of me.
Yeah.
And it was embarrassing.
It's beyond embarrassing. Yes.
And it was,
Were you in public?
I was at work.
Wow.
And
That's the biggest fear that someone like me has. Please don't let this happen in public. Please. And if it does, please let someone be with me who at least can I know I'm not alone.
How did you feel afterwards?
horrible. I didn't, I was just, it was a lot of,
Oh, the embarrassment's terrible, Claire. I'm sorry. Oh,
I was like, I think I actually saw you guys afterward, and cause it was right before rehearsal.
Yes,
Yeah.
you did. And you and I talked.
Yeah. And I was not,
I ignored your pain.
I don't think you were there. No, you must have
Matt
been
wasn't
there.
at the theater yet. You and I were at the theater, and we talked a little bit. I remember this very distinctly.
Yeah,
And
it
you
was-
were very, 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 not even upset. You were just almost kind of numb and shaken.
It was,
But I think going into Kitty and playing that role that evening got you gave you a little bit of like Stella.
It was a place I knew I needed to go.
And it was also, isn't it nice sometimes when it's mapped out?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to do anything other than just be present because it's all mapped out. The map's there. You don't have to redo or rework or whatever.
Well, and I also knew I was going to a place where I felt safe.
Yeah. There you go. That's what I mean to say.
Yeah, and but the people that I was with at the time that it was happening were incredibly supportive. They didn't really know what to do, but somehow they did the right thing by just. I mean, I was ready to walk out of my job pretty much, and they were like, "Put your things down and sit here, drink this water, and we're going to talk about it." And it was hard, and I don't even think I talked, but I just. Luckily, I don't know how this happened. It was two men, and I was actually blowing up at them. And then they were the ones that took me back down to a sense of normalcy and said, "Don't worry about this. We're going to figure it out." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, you're going to let me stay here? You're going to continue to let me work for you after I just did that?" But a result of a lot of bottled up things that sometimes, I don't know. Nobody can.
I'm going to go nuclear someday, I guess.
You might or you might not. Or you might have a psychic break and all of a sudden understand chakras, and then your color blindness will
be
go
cured.
Or if you close your eyes, I'll hit you on the side of the head and be healed. Go on. Get out of here, demon.
Would be nice.
Get out of his body. Get out of his body. Get out of his body. Get in the name of Christ. Get out of his body.
Christio.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Crustio.
Christio.
I don't think that's going to work on
we should
my
end this podcast. What is it? An hour and 30 minutes?
It is, but there's a little break in there because we lost
sound.
I must have shut the machine off by accident. So burnout. This is a topic that took us in a lot of different ways.
It's not just about burning your rolls in the oven.
No, it's definitely not. This is a complex one. I don't know that we solved anything. I don't know that when I get to the what did we learn that I know what to say.
Well, I think you do. I think that you just said it. Burnout opens up a huge abyss of vulnerability for you. Just even talking about it. And that is what it is. It opens up vulnerability, and vulnerability, embarrassment, all that comes into play with that. When you're vulnerable, all that comes in. And when you can't deal with all that with burnout, that is a really real thing. It's mental, it's physical, it's spiritual. And it hurts. It hurts physically. It hurts.
And this list of myths and cliches is, I think, very true for the American worker.
I think we nailed that first. And wasn't making a joke. It is. It's like,
it really is.
You see work, and I'm like,
we all know what these things are.
It's equated to work. You're working too much. I'm like, well, maybe we work too much over here.
Yeah.
So we are going to take the podcast to Europe.
Okay.
I think we should take this podcast to the White House.
To the White House?
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine, I just said the White House, your reaction was far more intense than bringing it to Europe.
Yeah, no, Europe sounds like fun.
Because he wants to take it to, let us see it to my wife.
But going to the White House would be so much scarier.
Why? The White House? Because
Well, think about it. You know how much harder it would be to go to the White House with this podcast?
No, I don't. I've never thought about it. Like,
it
would be really hard
because we wouldn't get invited. How would we get invited to it?
That's what I agreed.
We would have to
do it while we were on one of the tours.
What if we went to White Castle?
Is White
now
Castle
I'm starving.
Still around?
Thank you.
That just gives me a stomach ache.
White Castle?
Yeah.
Listen, we can't even fill a house with this fucking show we just did, so I don't know how we're getting invited to the White House. I don't know where that came from.
Well, we are American.
But I'm upset.
Americans are.
We have a right to be there. We can go.
Oh, Jesus.
Are we going to storm the White House?
No, I think we're going to take a tour. We're just going to go
and
with microphones.
now we get arrested. Here come our ride.
It would be so fun if it was just the three of us.
At the White House?
There's no threat. We're not. There's no
threat.
We're just going to do it at the White House.
Hey, we just
We'd
want to
be
do
like the
our
Muppets on the
podcast
side of the
here.
Mallory Gallery, shimmying up, trying to get inside.
Yeah, we just want to do our podcast there, and they'll be like,
Brandy Carlisle.
no.
Anytime somebody sings, she's like, "Hi, I'm here." Ooh.
But you're
like, gee, it's like the Allman Brothers tribute. Brandy's like, "Hi, I'm actually here too." Hi,
listener, are you still there? Listener, are you still there?
Yeah, Joey.
I think you can tell, listener, that once we get past the hour and 25 minute, we go off the rails.
I have to go.
Claire's got to go. So thank you for listening. I hope this made sense. I don't know. I just don't know.
I do.
Grady.
This is one of the best ones we've ever done.
Grady.
Grady, you haven't been here in 2 weeks. The best one we ever did was
Last week.
the first one we did.
No, the second one. The first one we did was a little. We never used it when we used the second one.
That's true. We didn't do the first one we did.
Oh, excuse me. I think that's our end.
It is goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
She ruined the whisper.
Oh, sorry.
See ya.
Are we all doing a thing?
Click.
So what did we learn? To be honest, I'm not really sure. I think it's pretty clear, though, that when I'm trying too hard to make jokes about things that are serious, there's probably something deep in there that I need to uncover, for sure. I also think we often are dealing with burnout mentally, but it's not until it becomes physical do we actually do anything about it. There's a difference between neurodivergent burnout and typical divergent. No, however you call it, neurotypical. That's what you say. Neurotypical burnout. Everything is better with support, for sure. And we often have to take care of ourselves. Let ourselves off the hook. Allow ourselves moments of grace. As usual, this podcast went in all different directions, but it's really good to have Grady and Claire and myself all back together. So thank you so much for listening. This has been the Last Will Podcast. If you like what you've heard, please rate, review, and subscribe. We can be found on the Instagram at the Last Will Podcast and at thelastwillpodcast.com. You can reach us either place. Till next time, onward, forward,